Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
Just take the red one off.
Awesome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of It Is What It Is podcast featuring your host, Cody Kelly. Look, I appreciate you've been tuning in. You've been regular. I appreciate all my listening audience, all my viewing audience on YouTube, just everybody and all my guests that have been on the show. But if you want to keep seeing great people, the call to action is to do what? You got to follow me on two platforms. The first one is Instagram at CVMK33 and the YouTube page at CV. That is Cody Vernon Kelly, CV space K, where all great content is seen, heard, and felt. I have an amazing episode today featuring rising fashion mogul, business entrepreneur himself, Jarrid Evans. He has his fashion line that has been out. I mean, a real mogul in the industry, a real creative. You know, sometimes people get into apparel, but I won't necessarily label them as a creative in the space, right? Like there's a difference, I think, between just selling things to be selling things and then really putting your geniusness and creative juices behind a product. So I wanted to bring him in here because he has value. He has insight. He's got a new line that's about to release for the fall, new collection. And I wanted the audience to meet this amazing person. He just happens to be a relative of mine. But with that being said, Jarrid, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Cody, and I appreciate that amazing introduction. It was very unexpected.
No problem, man. No problem. Well, look, you have taken a path that people say they do, but entrepreneurship is hard, right? Mm-hmm. And yet you went and you built and you built and you built, and now you come to a point you have to make a decision between full time in it or keep it as a hustle, right? So before we get to that point, because I know there's a process behind that, why did you start this line? Like, you graduated from Hampton, and then like 6 months later or a year later, this just kind of sprung up. What were you thinking about it in school? I mean, like, what really started the true inspiration behind this line?
What really started the inspiration behind Tandi Apparel was the fact that I was styling. I was doing a lot of wardrobe styling for artists. I was starting to build up clientele with styling, and a lot of the times when I was styling for different things, whether it was an award show or something of that sort, I would end up kind of creating the look for them. So whether that meant going and getting appliques or going to sew things up in certain areas to make it more custom, I started doing that. And to the point one of my clients was like, dude, why don't you have your own clothing line? If you can create custom looks for people, why don't you have that? And so, and anybody who knows me, I have probably since I was 7 years old, I have always had a sketchbook with me, just always sketching clothes, always. My first love is art. So designing and creating just came natural to me, but taking it into kicking it up another gear was when I was, in the process of styling, and someone recommended it to me. And to me, it just made sense. I was already doing it. I already knew how to do it. And I already had, honestly, I had designs and things like piled up of things, that I could create. And so that's kind of where it was birthed at, me in the process of me doing wardrobe styling.
So, so that's an interesting take. So I can attest, I remember like you've always had this creative piece to you. And I do remember, you would style and you would have your notebook with you. But, there is the idea on the paper and then there's bringing it to fruition, having the confidence to do so. That could have went another way. That could have said like, man, look, I don't know if people are gonna feel this. I gotta invest so much. Like talk to us about that confidence piece. Because I'm sure you probably had haters like, hey, look, just stick to this, get a good job. All right.
But we love them. No, but that's a very important piece. I would say that it's really not confidence is kind of just a part of me. Anything that I do, not that I'm doing it well, but things look better when you're confident doing it. Not necessarily that you're doing it right, but when you're confidently doing something, it comes off as if you're knowledgeable about whatever it is that you're doing when you're confident about it. And so I'm not a person who is scared to just be fearless and do whatever I feel is what I like, is what where my preference is. I've never been afraid. I've never really cared what people thought of me or what they think even now. And like you said, I definitely have people like, you need to continue, you need to pick another career or something that's going to keep you, how you going to keep the money steady flowing and things like that. And, it's all about, if you are somebody who puts in the work, the outcome will be income. So, and like me being confident in what I'm creating is what backs that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm confident. I'm confident in what I'm putting out. And I've definitely made things that I'm like, I don't really like this, and I don't, put it out. It may be something that it was just a creative thought, and when I put it on, when it came from paper to actual production, it didn't come out like I thought it would. So there are times when that happens, but anything that I'm putting out, if it's on my website, I'm confident in it, in me creating it, and it being worn, and it being liked.
Cool. So, you start this brand, and I'm sure we're going to get into the origin of the name. You start this brand, and what is your message to the world, right? Like, what was like, at what point then that you decided that, this is plan A?
I can't say that it was a tie-dye moment.
Okay.
However, I am someone, I'll always say this. I'm very, I would like to think that I'm wise in the sense of how I am going about my business. Now, I haven't completely given up or completely stopped my 9 to 5. I still am a full-time teacher. I teach first grade. And so that is something that helps support my business, my passion. When I started Tandi, I had no expectation of what the outcome would be. I just went in it because I knew I loved it. I knew I had me having a job would give me the funds to support it. So that was really the gist of it. I didn't really have an expectation going into it, but I knew that it was something that I really had a passion for. I did with ease. So.
I think, and I had a conversation on this, I think is managing expectations is kind of what affects trajectory.
Yes.
Sometimes we have these, I don't call it like aha moments, and it's like, man, I'm about to blow up. And then you like, man, I got 2 listeners on this, and then there's this, I'm just doing it for me. And you don't even check it. You remove yourself from the gauges of it, right? And the temperature. And then all of a sudden you look up and say, how many people saw that? How many people saw that? And you can never manufacture it. It's one of those things that just kind of creates itself. And it's like, maybe we get into it for the wrong reasons, right? I think is the talk track there.
Absolutely.
So we talk about purifying our motives, right? Obviously, I've supported you. I've purchased from your line. You've had an increase in interest. You have carved out a niche for yourself. How do you not what I would say drop the ball? And I don't think millennials are lazy. I don't think like we drop the ball by not doing. I think we drop the ball by sometimes pretending like necessarily loud. Now we made it, now we got our first, dropping the ball by picking up the bag is a bad mistake, So how do you not get caught into that type of distraction?
I would say that I do see a lot of people, in my opinion. Now we having a real talk.
Yeah,
a lot of people who are who have prematurely reached their peak, or who have made it in a sense. And so for me, I will never be satisfied with that concept. Because I know that it's so many things that I want to do. So in order for me to not drop the ball in this sense, I have to keep the momentum. I have to keep creating, constantly creating. And like, it goes back to me saying, like, even I've created things that I didn't even put out. But as long as I'm creating, as long as I'm keeping that avenue, it may be that one item that I, that I create that gets in the right hands, that pushes my business forward. And even at that moment, I won't be stopping. Now I may change to alter my career as far as me having my 9-to-5. I may have to put that to the side. But as far as I think it goes back to grind and hustle. If you're hungry for it, and like you said, getting in the right business, I could be hungry for something, and just because it makes me a lot of money, you know what I mean? But I had no expectation with Tandi. I really didn't. I did it because I really felt that I had like things that would be wearable, that people would want to wear. I didn't do it for me to be like, I got to live. This is my livelihood. Now, I pray that one day it can be, but I'm not dumb in the sense where I'm just going to try it out. I don't have no clientele yet. I don't have no, but I'm going to pray. Faith without works is what dead. So I have to put in the work and behind it. So yes, I have faith, but it goes to continuing the grind in order for you not to drop the ball or prematurely state that you've made it. And that concept to me is, what is that? You know what I mean? Like that, I think is subjective according to whatever you feel making it is. Yeah. So I think it's just about staying consistent and grinding. Never.
I like the consistency piece of it. I think people think that miracles happen, and they do. But a lot of progress is made with small steps, right? You look up and over time with compound interest of time, it's like, wow, I really popped off, but it's not always an overnight, like, bam.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about that, I often say the biggest distraction to somebody's dream is when others mimic your behavior. And it's not a shot, but I've noticed, even with me, let's say I have 5 listeners. I got a little bit more than 5, but let's say I got 5. All of a sudden, let me stop that. All of a sudden, there's another one. There's another, and it's like, well, when did you want to do this? You know what I'm saying? I just wondered, is it inspiration?
And I want to speak to that. I
speak to it.
They often say imitation is the highest form of flattery. Okay,
yeah.
So you say that. However, I don't care who you are. It can sometimes be uncomfortable. And we don't want to talk about this part, but it gets uncomfortable when they make it further than you, when you've laid the foundation and the
right. I gave you the blueprint.
and I gave you, and so it happens. But like you said, being consistent, seeing how that pans out over a time frame, it's more longevity. in baby steps. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to push themselves to this bag. They want to make it appear like I've made it, I've done this, and it's like when we check the accounts, the coin don't match. So exposure don't pay my bills. I'm grateful.
No, likes don't pay no bills.
And that's why it comes down to me. Now, eventually, I pray that I will be able to like wake up and literally just design, create, and that's all I do. But I'm never painting the picture that I've made it. God has been the plug for everything I've been blessed, every opportunity I've been blessed, whether it was Fashion Week, whether it was working Stella Awards, whatever it is. I have just been God. And so beyond any of that, I trust that God has given me this idea and given me this business idea for it to be successful. I don't think it's just something willy-nilly I'm just doing. Some people come up with, and not that they're not passionate about it, but like you said, when did you want to start doing it?
What did you?
It's dropping your spirit, because I've never seen
He said, was it before or after my?
Did I inspire? Okay. Inspirational. Okay. So yeah, like I said, it can be uncomfortable in that sense, but I've only had, I'm not, I would say I haven't seen it a lot with me. Yeah. I have seen someone who has consistently did that. I've seen literally my whole stuff, less quality, but I will say less quality. And I would get texts about it, like, oh my God, this is your exact stuff. This is your exact design. This is your exact stuff. And what I guess is settling for me is the fact that long as you know that, okay? Long as word of mouth, because, and I'm being serious, like, it may be on social media as this and that, but when people know the real, real. They know the original or the origin of it,
No, that's good. I'm gonna stop being petty. No, but I understand, like, because people will take your idea and it's like, man, I'm glad I could inspire you, but are you at least subscribed to my
I mean, back in college, then we have to have, what was that reference page?
Right. Are you works cited? Your bibliography, like, dog. How did you just take my whole format? No, it make a lot of sense. When we talk about the, God really has opened up doors. Talk about Fashion Week. We're talking about Stellar Awards. I mean, you've reached levels that takes others 2 to 3 times as long to get that type of notice and that type of access, right? Like, how do you handle that success? People think success is like this thing that when you get to it, like all my problems are gone. Like, it can create a new level of problems, and a pressure. So talk to us about the pressure, because once you get there, it's everybody. I said this. Everybody with you isn't for you. Everybody for you isn't with you. Right?
Oh God, I know. I do know that. I would definitely say, and I'm sorry, I know I have this bad. I definitely say a lot. You have to excuse that. But for me, I don't look at it as, see, a lot of times what people view success, some people have a different version of success for us. So I am still grinding. I'm just like anybody else in my eyes. And to someone else who is just watching, they're like, well, he has done this, he has done that. But really, it's maintaining that hunger for success. That is what keeps me humble. If I thought I was successful with the little stuff I've done, then you would have people, high and mighty left and right, if that's the case. But I've tried to always stay humble in the sense of, like, even when I'm around or I've come in contact and met certain celebrities through other people, it's never a thing of, I feel like I made it. It's honestly, in my eyes, I'm looking at it as work. So, like, even when I come in contact with certain artists or whatever, my mindset is not like, oh my God, I'm kicking it with them. My mindset is like, oh, how can I work with them? So whether that's just having a business card, or whatever, but I'm big on organic relationships also, and I think that's what has blessed me with my clientele. I have to turn people down now for clients as far as wardrobe styling, which I'm super grateful for. Not grateful to turn them down, but grateful that I have to.
Right.
But what I think is just it's a blessing. But like I said, people will think you're more successful than what you think you are. And so realizing that it's still more to get, still more to chase, it keeps me humble where I'm not even thinking about it like that.
No, I'm with you. I say, man, for every mountain I hit, it's like, all right, I ain't made it yet. I gotta get right back into it. Like
real and push you there before you feel like you there and everything. Like in certain situations, it'll feel so good that you feel like, dang, like I can give you an example, prime example. So one of my clients had a live recording for the album that's getting ready to come out in Nashville, and we had to literally, the team and some of the singers, the recording was over, I think at it was over I want to say it was over like at 4 or something. We had a flight to catch our flight was at 6 or something. And I'm just being random with it. I know it was a 2-hour window.
Sure.
But we ran off the stage, I was getting him dressed, and then me and the singers ran off the stage. They had a car waiting for us going right to the airport. I get to the airport and we're rushing through the airport, and I look at my friend, I said, this is what this life is about, huh? And it was like, that was the first moment I've ever felt. And I was just in Nashville, 2 months ago. So that was my first time I felt like, wow, I'm doing something. Now I feel like, and I've been flown most times when I'm going to LA. I'm never paying that stuff for myself, but it was at that moment when I was rushing from one city, not to go back home. I was actually going to another city, and I felt like then, like, oh my goodness. But it's still a thing of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. When you know God has called you to something, you can have aha moments of like, oh, I'm grateful, but it's never aha moments of like, I'm shocked, because This is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised at what the Lord has blessed me to do, because he has given me the creative genius to do that. So I'm not shocked, but it is moments where I'm just like, oh Lord, thank you.
it's surreal.
It is.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Sometimes I don't speak on it a lot. You know what I mean? Because I like to just take in the moments. I don't record a lot of things. I know it's not good as far as advertising things. You're always supposed to have a footprint, but sometimes it's all about taking it in. It's just like those moments are sacred for you.
No, they are. Hey, so I've been trying to, I would say, post less. Yeah. Right, because I'm like, man, I really like when I make a splash, I want to be able to like, yeah, I made a splash, but like, sometimes the moment will be so like, wow, that is like, nah, and then I don't know if you've ever been in a rut and you've ever been down, when you finally like come up for air, it's like, I gotta let the whole world feel me, so it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's normal, but it is what it is. So talk to us. So you got the new line coming out. You got the fall line about to drop. What's going into it? What do we have coming up that we need to look forward to? What's going on?
Dude, I'm so super, 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 super excited about it. So it's pretty much almost complete. I have just some more samples to complete. And get full bulk of things, but this new collection is going to be inspired by my siblings, and I'll tell you the marketing piece behind that in a few. But it's inspired by each of my siblings, Jasmine, Jamil, Jarvis, and myself. And so each piece will be reflective of our character, our personality. You'll see it within the design of the piece. So like I teased it a little bit. Couple of weeks ago on Facebook that I was going to be having some things for the women because my main supporters, or my main I'll say customers are women, even though my main customers are women. They just tend to, I don't know. My things are my pieces are more vibrant, not gaudy, but they are attention getter pieces. It's not nothing you're gonna wear that you want to be hidden in. You're gonna be thing you put. So you can expect some colors, some trendy but yet unique pieces that will be coming out. And the market, like I said I was going to speak to this piece, the marketing behind it. So what happened was that we went out for my brother's birthday, and it had probably been years. I can't even tell you how many years it had been since me and my siblings had taken a picture together, just the four of us. I literally don't know the last time we had all been in a picture. We posted it out when our first birthday. They posted on Facebook, and it got a lot of traffic, just people, like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen you guys together. And it was people from my friend group, my brothers and sisters friend group, all of that. And so it hit me like, okay, if people are reacting to this from just a picture, imagine if people know I have, a clothing line. Imagine if we were modeling together as a family, what I'm saying, doing a shoot together with clothes designed by one of the siblings in honor of our mother. I think when it comes to marketing, you have to be strategic when you think about how you are going to put things out. A lot of people just post stuff, put it out without no idea of how, without no plan of how you want it to be received, none of that. And sometimes you just have, spent a lot of money on a video or something like that, or a promo video, only for it to fall flat, or for not to be received, or for not to be reached by many people. So you have to be strategic in that way. And so when we took that picture, it was kind of like, oh, this just makes sense, and so another part of it is, when you are in business and you're an entrepreneur, you are playing a lot of roles. I'm a marketer, I'm my own advertiser, I'm doing the creative, I'm doing production, post-production. I don't have a team yet. And I'm looking to build that eventually, but I don't have a team yet. So doing that it takes time. So like when you said, like, you don't like to post all the time, I get it, because we have to handle our own posts, our personal posts, and then I don't feel like posting.
I gotta create the hashtag. I gotta write. Make sure this is spelled correctly. Like, wait a minute.
Every hashtag is correct. Making sure that it's afterwards, so that it's an actual, clickable link. All of that. It's just, it can be a lot. It can be a lot, for sure.
No, it can be. It's a lot, and it's a lot to manage expectations along with it, because you're trying to create a buzz, and you want people to engage, and then it's hard because it's like, how much do I want to pay for marketing? How much do I want to invest in this process? Right? Do I want the regular digital flyer? Do I want the cool video? How layered of a message do I want? And it can become really just like, I'm gonna just create something via Instagram and throw it out there. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
With you talked about the new collection being inspired by your siblings. You talk about, and I know you said most of your audience is women, but obviously you're making a push now for the men. So what is the uniqueness? What separates Jarvis's line for Pastor Evans' line?
Well, if you know my siblings,
right,
different, totally different people. Love them both the same, but they are two totally different people. So you can expect out of this collection, like, for it to be completely reflective of them. So if you know them, and what I thought about behind that is that our own circle of people we know, and our own network of people that we know. So my friends may, or my brother Jamel's friends may not want to wear, Jarvis's pieces, but they will want to wear, they want to make the connection with who they know. So out of that, so if you know them, you will see some of the set. I wish I had a sample down here, actually upstairs, but you will see that some of them it's really reflective of their personality. So for Jasmine, for example, she has it's a long sleeve t-shirt, floor length t-shirt dress, very comfortable, very lax, but it is embedded on the sleeve and arm with design that you have to wait to see, because I don't want to give too much away before. But all of that, like you said, how much should I spend on advertising? I have been blessed to have a network of people I know in the arts industry, whether they're doing photography, videography, creative directing. I have other styling friends who are amazing stylists. B. Renee, I don't know if she want to be listening, but that's my good sis. She's an amazing stylist. But I oftentimes call her to, assist in any way that she can. We work together, I think, about once or twice now, but just creating that network, it definitally helps.
No, I get you building your team. I trust me. I understand completely. I've been I got myself. I have Jen has been a great help. I got my boy Josh. Josh does things that I actually have to budget for with Josh, because everything with Josh starts, and I'm like, Josh, I need that Kojic discount. I need that $35. I don't need the stuff with commas in it. So no, but I get it. I totally get it. Well, look, when does it drop? Because I know, you talked about this line, we're coming into it, right now we're about to transition into where you can actually start wearing clothes, because the summer is ending. So when does the fall line drop?
The fall line is expected to drop mid-October. So right around that season, anything that I will put out now is still too hot. And so that's another factor when you're coming out with line. A lot of people have boutiques and things where they just pull clothes. So the clothes change with whoever their vendor is. But when you are creating this stuff yourself, you have to be consistent with weather. And so because most of my clientele is in Chicago, I have to pay attention to Chicago's weather. And so we've been just heated. And my plan was originally to release it before the beginning of school, September, before or after Labor Day. But because the pieces are fall pieces, it would be too, so that's kind of the expected date. It's mid-October.
Mid-October. Y'all go connect with Jarrid. Go to the website.
Yes.
Get the new fall line. Get the new fall line, because I need to get me some apparel myself, because I can't wear workout clothes all year. Jarrid, where can the people connect with you, man? They can get the line. They can support you, follow you on your journey.
Yes, you guys can connect with me through our Tandi Apparel website, which is www.tandiapparel.com, or on our social media platforms. You can follow us on Instagram at that's Jarrid, that's _Jarrid, Jarrid with 3 Ds. And that's my personal Instagram. And then Tandi Apparel 1 is the Instagram. So you can follow us on both platforms.
Awesome. Y'all connect with Jarrid. Follow him on his personal account, on the business account. Connect, support. The thing about it is, supporting is free. Even if you can't say, hey, look, I might not have the ends right now to buy your clothing line, but I'm going to follow you. It encourages the creator to continue. And if you want to keep seeing amazing content, you got to do 2 things. You got to connect me on Instagram at CVMK33 and on YouTube, as soon as my YouTube thing pops up, at CV_K. We're all great entrepreneurs like Jarrid Evans is seen, heard, and felt. Guys, until next time, I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you for having me, man.